Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Formula One podcast, straight to the apex. The guys are here. They're talking about last race, next race news. The predictions are here. It's all here. All the Formula One you could possibly want in one place. And I think we can all agree it's absolutely fantastic. So much so that you, as a listener or watcher, thinking, I'm going to click it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to click that button, the like button. I like this, I'm clicking it. I'm also subscribing while I'm here. And do you know what? I'm going to share this podcast. It needs to be seen by everybody. Please do that. That's, yeah. Big help. It would be a big help. Anyway, let's not listen to me anymore. Let's listen to these guys. So here we go. This is CookieCast, straight to the apex.
Good evening. Bit technical issues. Zoom updated just before I come online and they've moved record, so I couldn't find the button. Welcome everyone to Straight to the Apex. Nothing to do with my age, by the way. Nothing to do with my age. I'm only 40. I'm not a technophobe. Welcome. Series 3, episode 12. Brought to you on CookieCast, as always. Joining me every week, we've got James Stainforth.
Hello.
And Tony Rawson, who this week is supporting Mercedes.
Hello.
Guys, all right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Good. So, we've got a lot to talk about this week because interesting things happened. Shock horror! But we're going to start with the news, and we're going to start with breaking news by Mr. Tony Rawson. What have you got?
Well, got a hell of a bombshell.
Oh.
Danica Patrick has been sacked by Sky Sports.
Is that real? I thought it was fake news.
Real. I've heard it's very real. She has her own podcast, like everybody has now, and
obviously not as good as this one.
Spoken,
as good as this one.
Not as good as this one. Has spoken about reptilian people, and supposedly that is the reason she's been sacked.
She's spoken about what people?
Reptilian people existing in the system.
Right, call me stupid. What are them? Question. What are them?
Yeah.
Do you know what they are, James?
I mean, I'm kind of thinking the guy out of Spider-Man, but...
You won't get sacked for talking about them. Or will you?
Well, supposedly, allegedly, there is a conspiracy theory out there that there is aliens that are in higher power positions that are human, acting as humans, but really they're aliens, and they are controlling certain bits of politics and higher ups, let's say.
That would explain a lot for Donald Trump. Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, why are we even surprised about this? I mean,
But she interviewed somebody who's supposedly like into all this and has information that the people are allegedly, maybe, possibly, allegedly reptilians. Justin Bieber being one of them. I mean, it all sounds absolutely ridiculous, but there's people out there that believe this, and she spoke about it, and she's got the boot.
I mean, if she can take Naomi Schiffer with her, that'd be fantastic. Because
many comments have said that, but
she is as
let's
boring.
Just start with one.
She's as boring as painting a wall. Because literally, again, the comment she made at weekend, she just copied somebody stood next to her. Like literally, just rinse and repeat what they said. Oh, right. Okay. Well, She's gone.
He's gone.
That is breaking news. That is breaking.
Who's the reptilians?
Pardon?
Who do we think are the reptilians in F1?
In F1?
In F1.
Well, that's what she said. There's reptilians in the.
If I had to put money on it, so Esteban Ocon, because no one can be that angry driving a car as a human being.
Yeah, Max Verstappen looks more like a sloth.
Mm-hmm.
Reptile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we don't want to get sacked. Andy might believe in it, and Andy, we don't want to get sacked, so we're going to park it. We're not going to talk about reptilians. Andy may be a reptilian. Who knows? Who knows?
If you could be any, what would you be?
If you could be what?
You could be like any type of reptile.
A reptile.
Yeah, I mean, if you're reptilian, you can choose which type of reptile you want to identify as.
Well,
right?
Tony'd be a chameleon because he changes his teams like a chameleon changes colours.
There is a chameleon effect, actually.
Yeah.
When you're in certain groups of people, you do well to what they're talking about.
I've not really thought about it. Let's ponder on that question. Let's think about that. Let's former Mercedes chief Andy Cowell has joined Aston Martin, replacing Martin Whitmarsh.
Interesting.
Obviously, they're getting ready for the Honda engine in a couple of years.
Interesting.
Alpine has signed some engineers from Red Bull and Ferrari. Mm-hmm. So, are all Zach Brown's comments about Red Bull imploding internally kind of coming true? But we'll talk about that in a sec because I've got something about Red Bull that I want your guys' opinion on. Gasly and Stroll have signed new deals. I mean, Lance Stroll and Lawrence Stroll. Son, do you want to drive the car still? Yeah, but it's a bit shit, Dad. Yeah, I know, but you won't get another drive anywhere else. All right, then. I mean, that's the negotiations, really, isn't it?
It was total surprise to everyone. Absolutely surprised in no way whatsoever that Lance Stroll was going to get another drive. No.
So, any other news before the big talking point in the news?
Was it Ricciardo's last race?
Last race? I don't know if it was his last race.
Rumours circulating that his end is very near. Very near.
He didn't do bad on weekend, really. I think they'll give him to the end of the year. But who they're rumoured to replace him with? Is it Liam Lawson again?
No idea.
Right.
No idea.
Right. Okay.
Gravel traps. Any thoughts on them?
They make a mess of the track. I mean, we had to delay qualifying because of a lot of gravel.
Mm-hmm.
Quite like them, but wish because they do deter people going wide. But they do make a mess when you go in them and the car flicks up all the gravel. But a lot of drivers got struck on their hands, didn't they, driving with the gravel? And apparently that hurts quite a lot when you're doing 200 mile an hour.
I can say.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I've got anything else.
So, Josh Verstappen and Christian Horner. Have you heard about this? Do you know about this from the weekend?
I know that Christian Horner said if Toto still wants a Verstappen, then Josh might be available.
He did. And then there was a Legends, not a race, but a procession of classic Formula One cars. And Josh has been put down for months to drive, I think it was either the RB1 or the RB12, one of the Red Bull cars. Apparently, midweek, Christian Horner decided, why is Josh Verstappen driving our car? I don't want him to. I'm going to stop him driving said car. To which certain people in Red Bull went, yeah, you can't do that. So he said, right, okay. on the Red Bull channels, then we will not film Jos Verstappen driving our Red Bull car. We will cover all the other cars in the parade. We will not film Jos Verstappen. Jos Verstappen got wind of this. I said, I tell you what, Christian, I ain't fucking driving your car. And it's all kicked off again over weekend. Jos has said quite a lot to the Dutch media. Max in press conferences said, look, it's not ideal for me. I'm in between my dad and, my boss. But I'm not getting involved. I think it was Ted and someone else alluded to. It's really, really getting to a head now. And this is where the Max Verstappen to Mercedes rumours are coming from. Because Jos wants him out. Jos wants him out. I mean, what's your thoughts on this? Like, obviously, you're hearing about it for the first time, James. Tony, was you aware?
No, I knew there was a bit of a spat, but I kind of just let it go now.
What's your guys' thoughts of Christian Horner like interfering to this level just to piss off your number one driver's dad?
There is clearly a lot of beef between them two. And that is probably the reason why everyone's up and leaving, engineers going to Alpine, Newey going wherever the hell he's going, and Verstappen getting made offers and stuff like that. Whatever is happening, it's quite clear, really, that Horner, based on what you just said there, it's Horner who's got the issue with Jos. Because Jos was happy to drive a car. He's happy at Red Bull. He's happy with his son being there. He's like, yeah, I'll drive one of your classic cars. I'll fucking absolutely honoured to drive one of your classic cars. And then, some guy who can't keep it in his pants has then gone,
Allegedly.
doing that. I want you to market.
I mean, just to Red Bull TV are not going to cover a Red Bull car because of who's driving it. Where do you get off, mate? Because you're the one in, like you just said, you're the one in the wrong.
When was Red Bull Christian Horner's anyway?
Well, I think when Red Bull Christian Horner went into Red Bull, he decided he was the number one. I think he's called Christian Red Bull Horner by his thoughts. Yeah, so he's not the be all and end all.
I could just walk onto a Premiership football pitch then, just as I'm about to kick off, and pick up the ball and go, "That's mine."
Yeah. My ball. I'm taking it home. My ball.
Hey, Alex Ferguson, see this? It's my team now.
Yeah, that Premier League trophy you won. That's man. I touched it last.
Yeah.
But it's just.
Sorry, Klopp. I got these 7.
It's just petty and he was on. Obviously, he was. We'll talk about the race incident later, but I just found his comments afterwards really irritating. He's almost like righteous, like he is Formula One. He's the Oracle. Like say that comment about if Mercedes want a Verstappen, Yoshi's available. I just want Toto to smack him. Like charity boxing match. Just smack him. It's getting pathetic, isn't it? It's not the Christian Horner show.
Schoolboys.
It is absolutely. And we give that prick enough airtime on this podcast, but I'm just getting fed up with him. And I kind of hope that it all comes crashing down on him. I really do, because I don't know where he gets off. It was very quiet when Red Bull weren't winning a thing, but now Red Bull are winning a thing, and he did exactly the same when Vettel was in charge and winning everything. He suddenly crawls out of his little shell and is Mr. Big Bollocks.
Yeah, I'm the field expert. I know everything about everything. I am F1.
Yeah. Fuck off, Christian. Fuck off.
You're really not, mate.
No. So, have we got anything else before we move quickly through sprint shootout?
I've just got one thing on practice, and that was red flag Max.
Yeah.
Which is very weird and strange. And it was a just turn it off and on again moment. But
Yeah. It was a bit like Leclerc in quali, wasn't it? It was, he kind of stopped in the pits and it was like, turn it off, Charles, turn it back on. Everything's okay.
maybe, maybe blown out of proportion slightly, but yeah, it was unusual to see.
What I do like about sprint weekends is they do only have one practice session. So, but unfortunately, it was kind of, everyone jumped on the bandwagon, didn't they? When Red Bull's broken down, and then he just was fine in sprint. So it was. Anything else, son? From you are our practice correspondent because neither me or James ever watched practice.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
I think this track is definitely made for a sprint weekend.
Yes,
I'll go with that.
I still think the sprint let us down a little bit.
Yeah,
but because it's such a short track. I totally agree. I think it's one of them that it possibly works better than other places.
because it is a sprint. The track is very quick.
It is. I mean, they had a bit of a heat wave, didn't they, as well, which was kind of, for the main race on Sunday, was going through the tyres a lot. But for the sprint, they just bolted a set of tyres on and went for it. Granted, it was a lap shorter because of whatever went on, where they had to they did a false start, didn't they? Because there were some photographers at the top of the hill in the wrong position.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
Yeah. So they aborted the start and they took a lap off. So, but anyway, so sprint shootout. Max was first, Norris second, and then Piastri, Russell, Sainz, Hamilton, Perez, Ocon, Gasly, Leclerc. Usual suspects knocked out. I'm not going to bore you with that. I've got literally no notes on sprint quali. It was pretty standard, really. You guys got anything to add about sprint shootout, sprint quali?
It's pointless.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Q3, none of them come out. And even the commentators, it was about 8 minutes in, and even the commentators were sitting there and just going, yeah.
Yeah, because they're only allowed to use one set of tyres, aren't they? So everyone's just sitting in the pits and waiting until the track conditions are at the best, which is always the end of the session.
I think the whole thing's ridiculous. I like the concept of it still. But it's that, so instead of just having one quali session, you're going to have 2 quali sessions. And then you're going to have a race. Oh, but for these weekends, you have one less set of tyres than you would at a normal race weekend. And I just don't get it. I would have thought it'd be more a case of, on a sprint weekend, you get one extra set of tyres.
I think at Austria, because like you say, the track is probably built for sprint races. Why don't they just do a random draw for grid slots? Because you can overtake there. You've got 3 long straights. You've got 3 DRS zones. So you literally, like we do at work for any sweepstakes or anything, there's a website you can go on, put all the names into a wheel, spin the wheel, and it's the most fun we have at work. Like literally, that's what they could do. And just mix it up. So, like one weekend, you might have Logan Sargent first. Granted, he probably won't get past the first corner, but do you know what I mean? Just make it a little bit. Just mix it up, or even have a bit like touring cars have weight penalties on. So Max Verstappen has to carry extra ballast to slow him down, so all the cars are similar. And penalise if you're first in the championship, you get the most ballast. Just to throw it out there, because if you had some sprint races where Stroll won, or Alonso won, or Logan Sargent won, everyone would be like, Jesus Christ, I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, I think it would be good if... I always think, why don't they just have one lap? Just one. All you've got is one lap.
One lap. Just go big. Balls deep.
One lap. Everyone's got one lap, that's it. And if you fuck it up, you fuck it up. And if you're quick, you're quick.
Yeah.
Nobody else on the track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
You'll go out. You'll come out your pit box. You get one out lap, your fast lap, one in lap.
Yeah, and as they're coming in, the next one's doing their out lap. So it wouldn't be that long of a session, really.
It'd pretty much be the exact same amount of time.
Yeah, that's a good shout as well. I totally agree with you. I think it needs looking at. It's still a bit pointless.
I mean, all I've got just to finish sprint quali is Hamilton nearly lost it immediately on the first corner.
Yeah.
And then he went wide later on.
Yeah.
Yuki span right at the end of it, hit the gravel and went flying. And then the Leclerc problem in the pit lane was drama, which added excitement. But apart from that, that's about it.
No. So I'll keep the same order as these race weekends now. So next was race quali. No, sprint race. Sorry. Look, I can't keep up. So sprint race. Mentioned that they had to do an extra warm-up lap because of the photographers. So the sprint race started with Max and Norris battling. Had a fairly decent battle. And then obviously Max kind of, I wouldn't say forced him off, but made him run wide, and Piastri kind of nipped by him. And then that was almost like the end of the battle, wasn't it? Because Norris then couldn't get by Piastri. Piastri had dropped, I think it was about 4.5 seconds behind Max. And it was just then a procession. But for them few laps, not knowing what we knew on Sunday, bit of a taster, wasn't it?
Very much. Very much. Very much.
You guys got anything else from the sprint race?
That was it. Russell on Sainz. Did Hulkenberg have a bit of a tussle with Alonso, or was that in the actual race? I'm not sure. No, that was then. Yeah, that was about it.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
No.
Nothing.
So then we got to quali. Tell you what, I'm trying to get through this because I feel like this race, we're going to whiz by until lap 52.
So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's coming.
It's coming. It's not coming home though, but the talk is coming.
I don't know.
Let's not talk about that. No. Race quali. Max was pole, Norris second, Russell third, Sainz fourth, Hamilton fifth, Leclerc sixth, Piastri seventh, Perez eighth, Hulkenberg ninth, Ocon 10th. Delay to Q3 to clear gravel. Hamilton nearly took a jack out the pits with him.
Yeah.
That was fairly dangerous. And Leclerc went off the track on his final effort because he was pushing it. But we talked about this. Ocon sneaking in the top 10. Alpine are slowly going up there, aren't they?
I know. Don't know how. But
I mean, Hulkenberg.
I wonder. Maybe it could be due to their new advisor. Never know.
Yeah, something's gone on, and fair play to them. They've developed the car. Like I say, Haas was in there as well with Hulkenberg, but we said it last week. We absolutely wrote Alpine off, and we thought Williams were the team that were going to come up. Williams is still all right. Albon got knocked out in Q1 as did Sargent. They're not getting to Q2 yet, which is a bit shit.
Aston continue to fall from grace.
I mean, Tony, they're your former team. What's your thoughts on Aston's mighty fall? Because I think your words were in one of the last season's podcasts, when the new factory comes online, this team will rock it. What's happened?
Yes. I have no idea. No idea. It's all gone a bit Pete Tong, to say the least. I'm hoping there's going to be some upgrades this weekend, but they're going to have to be some hell of an upgrade to get this team back in the mix. Yeah. A straight answer is, I don't know. And I don't know if this is going to get any better, but this is F1. We are in a different place completely now compared to the start of the season. So,
Yep.
I don't
Rumours are you're selling an Aston Martin cap, worn only twice.
I like my Aston Martin cap. That'll be.
Right, it's not for sale yet. Okay,
It's close.
Holding on to it, right?
Well, hang on to that. 2023 season, first 10 races. That was what a time to be an Aston fan. The glory days.
I mean, we do laugh. I mean,
we remember them Alonso comments. Like, this is a nice car to drive. How's Stroll doing?
Them radio messages have aged so well, haven't they? You've built me a fantastic car. Oh dear. What
this is lovely to drive.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna fucking yeah.
Yeah, I think I would like to hear his radio messages now, because I think they are more that than what there was. Any other things from race quali?
Piastri track limits. Still can happen. At least it wasn't hundreds like last year, but still there.
Yeah, I mean, it dominated the race again, didn't it? Track limits. I'm still bemused by track limits. Let's put it that way. You have two white lines. Why is that not the track limits? But drivers will push and push and push and push. Granted, some people in the race got penalties. Like, say, Piastri got times deleted. Yeah.
It's this track, innit? It just is this track.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'm surprised more people didn't lose it like Yuki. I'm surprised.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why I quite liked the new gravel traps, because they did. We had, like you said, we had hundreds last year. Like, every other lap was deleted. So that gravel trap has clearly worked this year. And like I say, granted, it makes an absolute mess of the track, but it does deter them.
We'll see. We'll see going forward what happens next year.
Just get someone to replace the gravel.
Like firecrackers.
Yeah, I was going to say like a wall of fire.
Yeah.
Prisoners.
Them like collars that you put on dogs to stop them barking.
Not the cone of shame.
No, not the cone of shame. Just that little collar. And as soon as they go over that white line, they get like a little shock. It's like.
Yeah.
What about if a driver went over the white line and had to go in the pits and wear a cone of shame? I mean, that's a deterrent in itself, isn't it? Because they'd look all right back.
You got to do the next lap with one eye closed.
With a patch on. Yeah.
Slow the car down. This sounds like Formula E.
Yeah. Well, it's getting there with the noise of the cars. Although, this is one point I got from the weekend. The Alpine is a very loud car. If you hear it, it sounds really like, like a chavved up Saxo. It's got a cane and air filter on, and it's got like the dunk valve that goes. It sounds very, very like they put a sports exhaust on it. Honestly, it was weird. It come on, I think it was in quali, and it passed the camera, and you were like, that's like a fucking tractor. What's that? And it was the Alpine. So, I mean, the fact that they're a bit faster now, a bit interesting.
Something special on that machine.
Anything else not to do with a race? We've got about 6 or 7 minutes left before the break. If not, we can always revisit James's. What reptile would you like to be?
Come on, son. You normally got some like really random but deep question going.
We haven't had a
I was
tough
thinking-
question for a while.
Yeah, I'm watching on I think it's Sky Sports doing top 3 at the minute.
Top 3 question.
3. Well, yeah, top 3. So like top 3 takeaway foods.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a very good one. Very good one. And I think Lando Norris went Chinese.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he put second, but he put the cookies from Domino's third. I think he put KFC chicken second, maybe. I think.
But
I mean, I like KFC, but to me, KFC is not takeaway. That's fast food.
yeah, that's a different ball game.
Well, I'll have a look. I'll confirm that or deny that. I'll confirm.
What did you say?
Chinese.
Chinese first, yeah, agree.
Food, actual food.
Second.
Pizza second, yeah, great.
No, but what pizza?
Indian third.
But what Indian?
I feel like
yeah,
Depends what you fancy. Like, I think third for me would be Dope Burger, which is very specific. Something.
well, but that's what I mean. Be specific.
No, because you don't know what you fancy. Like Chinese, it's what on the night do you fancy? It could be a curry, it could be sweet and sour, it could be chicken fried rice, it could be beef chow mein. It's all good. It's just that on the night you look through the menu and you go, "Oh, fancy that tonight." You might pull an absolute curveball out of Chinese.
You see, I'd go Whiteheads fish and chips, number 1. Number 2, I'd probably go Five Guys burger.
Oh, that's yeah, but that's fast food again. You're getting mixed up here. You're crossing streams. You don't cross streams. There's takeaway and fast food.
I think it's the same thing.
No.
oh,
Fast food is when you're like, I need food in a hurry. There's a drive-through. Like Hull is getting a Five Guys drive-through. They are building it now. We are getting the first Five Guys drive-through in the country.
Hey,
Fast food.
that's pretty.
drive through Five Guys.
Right next to the
Where's
gym.
that? Where's that going?
Next in
Is
front.
it going there?
Yeah, it's going in front of Hollywood Bowl next to David Lloyd Gym.
No.
Wow.
So I'm literally going to leave the gym and go straight through the drive-through at Five Guys and then go to Dunkin' Donuts next door. I mean,
That's like putting a brothel next to a marriage counsellor's office.
I thought he was going to say next to Christian Horner's house.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Why would that be? Well, God.
Allegedly.
God. Wendy's lost my Wendy's virginity today, guys.
What did you
Very
think?
good.
No, I'm not a fan.
Good. I went for the triple combo meal, and then the nuggets reminded me of the nuggets you used to have as a kid, like proper chicken, little chicken, none of the shit and the others. It's above McDonald's, but below Five Guys. Definitely.
I think people rave about it, and it's just not that good. I've been disappointed both times.
Really?
But yeah.
But then it wasn't cheap. It fucking wasn't cheap.
No.
So I got 20 nuggets, large combo meal, the triple, 21 quid.
Wow.
That's.
I mean, we've chucked out so many eateries. If one of them don't sponsor us next week, I am going to be absolutely furious.
You can't go wrong with a Whopper. I'm sorry.
This is a good point. And you know what, Andy? We've said Wendy's and Five Guys about 4 times each. So if we can't get Kate Beckinsale or Jerry Halliwell, we will settle for Five Guys delivery.
Be very careful. I'm glad you worded it like that.
Five Guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, be very careful how you word that, because you don't want Kate Beckinsale or Jerry Halliwell, you want Five Guys. Totally different podcast. On that note, we will take a break, and we will actually talk about the race, which was interesting.
Kind of.
Yeah, bits of it. So we'll see you on the other side, guys.
Hey, you. Yeah, you that's listening right now. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode of Straight to the Apex, the Formula One podcast from CookieCast. If you're enjoying this episode, why not like, share and subscribe? Whilst you're there, feel free to check out some of the other podcasts that CookieCast has to offer. If you like football, we've got a football podcast. NFL more your thing? Then the Laces Out podcast is for you. Maybe even a little bit of the wrestling. Just look for the Getting Over podcast on CookieCast. Maybe you want to listen to Andy's Darkest Timeline. It's there too. So, the F1 boys have probably got themselves a drink. It's time to get back to the action.
And we're back. Missed off some vital admin at the beginning. Will give myself a slap on the wrist. Thank you to Andy and CookieCast again for hosting and having us. Can't forget him. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Listen to us. Listen to the other podcasts on the network. There was a bullshit podcast from a long time ago. I forgot some of the things I said, like I wanted to be an ice cream man. But go listen. Find out what's my favourite ice cream flavour. Anyway, so the race. Not going to give the top 10 because we've got too much to talk about. George Russell went off on the warm-up lap to the grid. Unfortunately for him, and made me laugh especially, 10-3, he had a 40-mile-an-hour gust of wind that blew him off the track. Such a shame. Such a shame. Oh, hello. Sorry, interference there.
Reptilians.
Yeah. That's it. They're getting in touch, Tony. The mothership is calling. So the start. First few laps. Bit tight, bit dicey. There was Hamilton passing Sainz off the track. And then he was told on lap 7 to give the place back, which was odd. He was told by the team, not by the FIA. However, the FIA were investigating it and then said no further action. So you don't know if they'd give him a penalty or what. I know there was a lot of people having a go back for that, but I think they were just being overly cautious because you didn't want him to get a penalty.
It was probably the right thing. I think the reason the term I went no further action is because they gave the place back.
Exactly. Leclerc and Piastri had contact, breaking Leclerc's front wing, and also hit Perez, who had side pod damage.
First corner incident.
Exactly, yeah. Hamilton and Russell had a bit of a battle. Like, Hamilton got Russell then got Hamilton.
Racing.
Yeah. Any other things from the first few laps, guys, of note?
Hamilton oversteer from the pit entry.
Yeah,
That's not like him.
Didn't he?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that? Because obviously you got a penalty for that because you're not allowed to cross that white line. However, he kind of lost control of the car and his back tyre went over. Piastri was straight on the radio.
Yeah, It's,
yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Was it harsh? Was it correct?
He hasn't gained an advantage. So why discipline him? I don't know.
It's tricky for me. Anywhere else on the track, I would probably say that was harsh. It's not like, he hasn't deliberately gone out and exceeded track limits or anything else like that. It's just a case of he's lost control of the car and he's trying to gain control of it before there's a nasty accident.
Mm.
With it being the pit lane, that the rules are a lot tighter there.
And it's a really awkward pit lane entry because it's it's on the inside of the fast corner. I mean, Albon got a penalty as well, so at least they were consistent.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, but I still think that one was a bit harsh.
Yeah, I kind of get it. I think that they've got a rule: you can't cross the line. You cross the line, you've got to be seen to be strict. I kind of thought, was Hamilton just putting his... Maybe they've got more telemetry than us. Was Hamilton just burying his foot to the floor? Was it, him trying to get in fast and he's overstayed? Or was it the car? Was it the wind? Hopefully, you'd think the FIA can see a lot more data than us. And they've come to that conclusion because... But yeah, it was 50-50, wasn't it? You can kind of... You see the reasons why it was given. However, it was a bit harsh.
Yeah.
But, Magnussen was told to save the tyres when racing with Hulkenberg. His response was, fuck that.
Yeah.
Love that. Is my teammate doing that? Were you both doing it? Yeah. Fuck that. And it worked for him. It worked for him. I'm sick of this bollocks of saving tyres. Just bin it. Just go back to how it was. Alonso punting Zhou off the track.
Yeah.
That was amateur hour on it from Alonso, really.
Yeah.
He was given a penalty for that. So up until lap 52, when Max was comfortably leading by 6 seconds and then pitted, have we got anything before lap 52?
I've got Alpine fighting each other. Gasly, Ocon pushing Gasly off the track. Then Gasly eventually passed Ocon. Literally just before, I've got a slow Max stop. And then he locked up later on in that lap as well, on his out lap. So that brought the gap closer.
So that pretty much gave us the last 15 laps, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
and then we had
the pit before. Sorry, the pit. Max's pit before that, he was actually under investigation for an unsafe release on Norris.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and they deemed it was fine. I mean, it was borderline. I've seen that given. If I'm brutally honest, I think he kind of got away with that one.
But, I mean, any slower they would have contact.
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah. If Norris wasn't looking, because Norris couldn't turn in when he wanted to turn in, so Max did.
Very cheeky by Max there. Yeah, very cheeky.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen, like I say, I've seen other drivers it given. So, James, you got anything, like I say, up until Max's second, third pit stop when it all went?
The only other thing I really had was the unsafe release, but just covered it.
So, Tony, anything else?
Racing, lots of racing. Norris passing on turn 3, then Max getting him back, and Norris commenting that Max was reacting to his moves.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to all that in a second. Hang on. Piastri, 2 absolutely world-class overtakes around the outside. I think it was on Sainz. I can't remember who the other one was on. I don't know if it was Russell. But unbelievable. No right to overtake there at all. And then, going on to your point now then, Tony. Obviously, Max come out the pits. He had a sticky wheel nut, I think, on his back tyre.
Yep.
So went into the pits with a 6.7 second lead. Come out, Norris was 2 seconds behind. And then all of a sudden that literally, because let's be honest, the race was going up until that point. Max was absolutely cruising. Absolutely cruising. It was an okay race. There was, like you say, a lot of action. But up front, not really a lot going on. Max was just controlling it.
Tony was on for 7 points.
Yeah, he'd moaned about his tyres being shit. He'd moaned about, I think, the car clipping. He was doing his usual stuff. It wasn't dominating. However, he had nearly a 7 second lead, and then the pit stop happened. All of a sudden, Norris was like on him.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So he was going wide, and he was collecting black and white flags.
He was collecting track limit penalties. He got the black and white flag. He was pushing it, but lap by lap, it was getting closer and closer, and then the battle started. I mean, before the incident, so let's talk about the battles where Norris got by, Max kind of moved. What did you think to Max's racing? Who was in the right? Who was in the wrong? Was Norris right that Max was moving? Was Max just racing hard? What's your guys' thoughts?
Max was turning under braking. There was 3 counts of them, all on the same kind of turn. First time, it was clear as bloody day. Second time was borderline. You know, Max came in again, but it was more subtle, and then obviously Norris locked on. Third time, yeah, it again clear as day.
Fourth time.
The fourth and final time.
What? Before we get to the fourth time, Tone, do you agree with James? Was he moving? Was he?
Yes. Yeah, it was. It was not as obvious as the fourth time, but it was doing it. It was racing very hard. Very, very hard. And you've got to, yeah, go on, do it, say it.
Well, I always listen to last week's podcast. And me and James, Tony not so much, but me and James were praising Max, saying he was likeable again. He's not been that dick. But thinking about it after this weekend, that's because he possibly hasn't been under pressure. What? Have I stolen your line?
Exactly what I was going to say.
I feel like Max has had it coasted this year, and the minute he's under pressure, he's turned into what he did with Lewis. And I'm kind of glad in a way, because everyone was on Lewis's back for it. I mean, Andrea Stella, the McLaren guy, I want to shake his hand, because he said after race interview,
he
nailed it. He absolutely said what everyone outside of Red Bull thinks. That Max, I mean, don't get me wrong, Schumacher had this in him. Schumacher was a twat, absolute knobhead. He was over aggressive. Senna, when he had to be, when he was fighting Senna and Prost. Lewis is quite aggressive when he was racing, when he was a youngster and just coming in. But I'm so glad in a way that Norris, he was complaining on the radio, and then on the fourth time, the incident, Norris just said, I'm not moving. He's moved over on me so many times under braking. I'm 3/4 of the way across. I mean, the lap before, he was forced off the track, and then Norris got his 5-second penalty because he was on the last warning. Max moved under braking, forced him off, and the FIA penalised Norris. In this one, Norris was just like, no, I'm not fucking moving. Max, come across, bang.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys in agreement that it was 100% Max's fault?
Yes.
He said that in sync. Well done. I love that.
All three of the
But-
guys in the cool room afterwards said the same thing. You know, didn't tell him once because obviously he hit him, and then when they was both coming back on the track, he hit him again.
Also, the bit after when Verstappen had a puncher, Norris, we didn't know if he had a puncher, so went to the right-hand side, and Max Verstappen veered over and forced him on the grass. I'm sorry, but that is that he should have been absolutely excluded from the race, or maybe that was too harsh, 20-second penalty. But what a dick move. I mean, he saw red, didn't he? He's just gone back to what happened in Italy, where he ended up on top of Hamilton's car. He's just.
Well, I'm not even going to say it got back to, because going back to what you said and what I was going to say, and the commentators were saying oh, he's gone back to Max 1.0. But is it more a case of it's always been Max 1.0, but he's just had a ridiculously fast car? Now, even when we were saying without a ridiculously fast car, he's a phenomenal driver, he is, and he's shown that. But what he's now showing as well is if he hasn't got, the only reason he was coming across nice and everything else like that is because he had a 20-second lead. He had no one to be an arsehole to.
Yeah.
But as soon as he's under threat, he's moving under braking, and let's not forget the whole rule about moving under braking was brought in because of Max.
Yep, and everyone refers to it as the Max Verstappen rule.
Yeah. And there he is again, just...
What has this guy got to do for the FIA to sit him down and say, right, enough's enough now? I mean, like I say, everyone blamed Hamilton. Everyone looked, it's Hamilton's fault, it's Hamilton's fault. I'm sorry, but he's done it with Leclerc. He's done it with Hamilton. He did it with Sainz when they were both at Toro Rosso.
Yep.
He's now doing it with Norris, who he online games with a lot. He plays pickleball with. He's good mates. You're really trying to force your good mate off the road because you're angry that you've touched and you're blaming him. And you're trying to physically, you're still not what you won't let him buy, and you've got 3 wheels on your wagon. I totally agree with you, James. I think I almost felt embarrassed listening to last week's podcast because I feel like I've been deluded into Max has grown up, he's matured, he's this new respectful racer. He's not, he's a tosser. He's an absolute tosser. It's win at all costs.
The other thing that pissed me off, I watched his interview on the checkered flag, and the guy really needs to think about what he says. I mean, the job I do, and I've always been an absolute bastard for it, and this is why my siblings hate me as well, because I remember every daft little thing that he said, and then if it changes, I go at it. And at the start of it, and they're saying to him, "Oh, what do you think about the moving on the brake?" And you're going, "Oh, well, it's all right them having that opinion when they're outside of the car, but they can't see my feet, they can't see when I'm braking, so I wasn't braking when I was moving, and all this kind of stuff." But he keeps highlighting, "You can't see when I'm braking," so he's effectively saying, "You don't know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. So when you're saying I'm braking, I'm actually not." But then 2 minutes later, when I say, "Oh, what about Norris coming up on the inside?" going, "Yeah, well, he was holding his brake until late." I'm sat in my chair and I went, "How do you know when he's braking, Max?"
Yeah, you're not in the car. Yeah.
You're a dick. You're an absolute dick.
I mean, his comments about Norris dive bombing on the radio. Someone put on Twitter the exact same images of Max Verstappen dive bombing Hamilton. So
Yeah.
again, you pot calling the kettle, mate. This is what you did before. Like, Norris is only doing what you've done previously, and now you're saying it's wrong because it's been done to you. Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, you're a dick. You're an absolute first class utter dick that wants his own way all the time. And when you challenged, like he's been saying for weeks, I'd relish this challenge. I'd relish a battle with my friend. No, you've got no friend. You should have no friends because you are so single-minded. You don't want to race with anyone.
Yeah. What about the penalty?
What, the 10 seconds? Fucking pointless.
That made absolutely no difference to him whatsoever because the nearest driver to him was 17 seconds behind.
I mean, he did well to get back to the pits because Norris absolutely. I mean, Norris was angry, and his tyre like rips the back of his car in pieces. But to me, the fact that he then tried to force Norris off was worse than the incident. So for that, should have got at least 10 or 20 seconds or a penalty points on his license or something.
Well, he did get penalty points on his license.
Right, good.
Eventually, they put 2 points on there.
2.
But but you've also got to remember they only last 12 months.
Yeah.
And because he's had like a 20-odd second lead in every race for the last 2 years, there's been no penalty points. So his total penalty points now is 4.
Okay. And don't you need like 10 for a race ban or something stupid like that? 12, yeah.
Exceptions on 10.
Tony, you're very quiet. What do you think to it all?
I think it is Max's fault, but Brundle said it best, and that is that the great drivers, don't yield. And in my opinion, now that I think about it, it was kind of a situation that was like, well, if I can't have the win, no one can.
Oh yeah.
And again, not to mention a Star Wars phrase, but it did really make me think about when Luke Skywalker refused to go to the dark side. So the Emperor just was like, so be it, and fucked him up. But unfortunately, there's no Darth Vader or George Russell in this case to pull him.
We'll get on to him in a sec.
So I think I don't know. In kind of a fucked up way, it's kind of brought me close to him in a way, like an absolute like winner, win at all costs.
Well, how do we know
else?
Max when he said the greatest drivers don't yield?
Brundle said it because he said Schumacher didn't, Senna didn't, Lewis didn't sometimes, and now we have Max. So now he's like a true champion because he's willing to sacrifice himself.
But what I'm saying is, how do we know Brundle was referring to Max and he wasn't referring to Norris? Because Hamilton has always said in the past as well about Max, this whole kind of, I'm not going to back off. You know, if he drives it, I'm not going to back off anymore because otherwise they're going to keep doing it.
You can't pass me. So the only way to get past me is to go through me.
No, but
and obviously you can't do that.
Like James said, maybe Brundle's kind of thought process was like Norris was basically, I could let you've done it to me 4 laps in a row now. You've moved under braking. I've had to back off. I've then had to back away and go again. And on that 4th time, Norris has gone, do you know what? I ain't yielding. I've had enough. And that's what Hamilton did. And that's when them two clashed. And everyone was like, oh, Lewis this, Lewis that. No, it takes 2. You can race it on a track. Michael Schumacher, I'm sorry, but I don't care that he's a 7-time world champion. I can't stand it. I could never stand him as a driver because he was that line between almost like good and evil. he was Dr. Evil. He went over the threshold of being a good racer, and he was dirty. Max Verstappen at weekend, it's like a rugby player or a footballer that's just constantly dirty, like Vinnie Jones or Roy Keane. It's that line you've crossed, and I don't think that makes you feel great driver at all. I think that makes you look
arrogant.
Arrogant, yeah. It's and don't get me wrong, every Formula One driver on that grid has got arrogance. Even Logan Sargent, even Lance Stroll.
Nah, shit.
Well, yeah, maybe Logan Sargent now. But there's a line, and I just think that Max has got such a lead in the championship. He could have just gone, do you know what? I tried to keep him behind. I've been beaten by the better man. Norris had a 5-second penalty for track limits. All Max had to keep within 5 seconds, and he'd have won anyway.
Yeah.
Would he though? At Austria, the home Red Bull race in front of the Orange Army.
He would. He'd have been easily. He would have kept within 5 seconds of Norris, no problem, because he'd have just used the DRS on the free straights, he'd have kept up with him, caught up on the straights. I just don't get that mentality. I don't.
But is that a failing? Is that a failing of the team? Because it is Max Verstappen Red Bull Racing, and the team didn't really want to tell him slow down. Really, was the team really needed right now to say, look, he's going to get a penalty. Let him go. Relax. Don't fight this. It's going to end up in misery. Don't do it.
No, because that's not in Max's nature. That's not in Yoshi's nature.
No.
That's not how he's been brought up. Yeah. So,
unfortunately, it's going to keep happening, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Stella's right.
Yeah.
Very right. Because it hasn't been smashed out.
No. So, unfortunately for us, George Russell won the race.
Get in!
I really am going off you.
Toto, you can do it, George. Win. You can win. Go, George.
Yeah, he said that, and then Russell swore at him because he said it in the wrong part of the track. Fuck off, George. So George won, unfortunately. And then he did his pose again, like, oh, for fuck's sake. Just the smugness of him. Two drivers have just crashed. Two drivers have just crashed. You ain't won it on talent. You've won it by pure luck. Oh, well, I'd put myself in third. So, if I could see that happening.
I called it yesterday.
In the cool room, there's Piastri and...
So he does his hair. Pisses me off. He always does this.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then George comes in, and they're watching the fight, and then George goes, was a cool fight. And Piastri goes, well, yeah, because you just won the race because of that fight.
I know. I mean, again, this is why I love Oscar, because he was watching the fight and he was just sat there shaking his head as if to say, you're a fucking dick, Max Verstappen. And then Russell says that, and he almost wanted to say, well, yeah, because you won, you knobhead. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Russell's fucking walking around like fucking Grease Lightning, like,
oh, fucking
yeah.
It'd have been fantastic if Piastri caught him, because I think if 3 or 4 more laps, he'd have caught him. But I think with all the debris on the track, I think there'd have probably been a safety car because there was so much from Norris. But Russell won, Piastri second, Sainz third, Hamilton was fourth, Max, like you say, was fifth with a 10-second penalty, which was an absolute. So he's extended his lead in the championship as well, which I think is all types of wrong anyway. Hulkenberg sixth, Perez seventh, Magnussen eighth, Ricciardo ninth, Gasly 10th. So that puts Max on 237, Norris on 156, Charles Leclerc on 150. Just quickly before the predictions, obviously it's the British Grand Prix this weekend. Silverstone is a fast track. Red Bull generally do well. McLaren generally do well. Quick prediction, are we going to see them two clash again?
Yes.
Kind of hope so.
Now that
Has
you've
to.
said it, yeah, and I imagine it being early.
First
Kind of-
corner.
Kind of
Even
hope
first.
it's a Lewis
Just
Max
out.
thing again, where he pumps him off. Fucking that'd be brilliant.
Oh, yeah, stir. Just a little nudge on the old backside.
Yeah, and then Christian's
At 200 miles an hour.
yeah.
But I don't mind because my mate Chris, he's there this weekend and he's on Woodcock. So if it doesn't happen there, don't mind.
No.
Anywhere else, just not there.
So, predictions, James. If you want to take over.
So, I mean, there's no point really discussing last week. We all had Max for the win. We all had Norris second. Me and you had Leclerc third, Mark, and Tony had Russell third. I mean, in fairness, looking at it, if Max and Norris hadn't have gone off, Tony would have actually had all three.
Oh, God. Yeah, he would.
Yep, he got shit.
Fuck off.
You know, I can live with potentially having 3 points but having none, but you potentially had 7 points.
Oh,
And
now
might
I've got.
with the eye of a needle.
That would have literally propelled him first as well. Up there. It'd have propelled him up there because we'd have had Max and Norris.
I'll just continue the most unluckiest streak of all time.
Yeah.
Well done, Max. I like you again.
Charlie had Norris, Sainz, and Ham, so started with 7, ends on 7, and Beth had Max, Lando, and Piastri, starting on 21 and finishing on 21. So all because, Max's tiny penis shriveled up even further and pretty much inverted like my belly button. We all got no.
Yay! Excellent.
And if you thought predictions was close this week and it was hard, this week is even harder.
Oh, it is 100%. So, host goes first. So I've got, and I'm doubting him now. Right, I've gone Max, Norris, Hamilton.
Wow! What? Wow, that's miles away from what I've got thinking.
I am going to go next then.
Mr. fucking safe there.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tony because I don't want him to copy off you, James. So let's put Tony on the spot. What's your predictions?
I'm going to go Lando Norris to win.
Oh.
And then I'm going to go. It all depends. Max Verstappen crashes or not. So you've got to really think tactically here. I'm going to go. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go. Oh, it's a really tussle between two.
Fuck me, it's not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, mate.
It's huge, though. This is huge.
Thank you.
I didn't say you're huge. This pick is huge.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Got to. I'm gonna go. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. Piastri second, and then I'm gonna go Russell third.
Fucking hell. I mean, that's full on banter. Absolute full on banter.
If you only took another to make that prediction, would have actually had the live in the race there.
Go on.
But...
Yeah.
Right. So I do have. Go on. That's
what
I was debating. This is what I was debating, and he's going to say it right now. Get ready, guys.
I did say I think there will be 2 McLarens.
Here he goes. Here he fucking goes, guys. Every single fucking listener listens to this fucking bullshit of a guess right now. I know what you're going to pick, aren't you? Go on. No, I'm not going to say it because then you'll fucking go with it. So do it. Do it now.
Well, rather than yours.
Make a fucking pick now. Do it. Do it now. Go on. Do it. Do it.
Norris Max Piastri.
Yeah, you fucking bastard. You fucking bastard. You fucking bastard. Fire up, Max. I swear to God, as soon as Max hits that barrier, you're getting a fucking call. I don't give a fuck where you are, what you're doing, where you are. You're getting a fucking call.
What are you so angry for?
Island.
Because that's what I was debating.
Ah, right, okay. Okay, so what have we got, Beths?
Let me mute it. She said, yeah. She said she said it already.
No. So Charlie's then while we're waiting for Beths, the FIA.
Charlie has gone. Norris, Hamilton, Piastri.
Ooh.
That's a shout. That is a shout. Oh, Beths are actually coming through live. So we've got Lando, the Norris, Hamilton, or she's pulled a hammy, I don't know which one.
And she's going to go Woody himself.
She's going to go Russell, do you think? She's typing. I mean, these are live, hot off the presser, Tony can't copy. Russell, there we go.
There we go. Great.
Bustle.
It will happen. And then, you know what? That will happen. That will happen. And I know exactly what will happen as well. I'll get it right in there. That's where I'll get it. Right in there.
I mean, if Max wins, I'm the only one that's got him to win. So this could work out really well for me for going Mr. Ultra Safe. But hey, unfortunately, I do think that Max and Norris are going to tussle again. I do. And I kind of hope they do. But then
he's going to get booed to fuck. He's going to get absolutely hounded, Max.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect timing just before the British Grand Prix.
I mean, Max, I think British Grand Prix put something out and said, oh, they don't think the atmosphere will be toxic against him. I think it will 100%.
Just perfect timing.
And do you know what? Timing. I hope it is. I hope he stood on the podium and they're fucking booing him. But he won't care because, I mean, I quite liked Lando's comments when they said, like, is your friendship going to be tested? He went, well, it depends what he says. If he says that, sorry, I'll have respect for him. If he doesn't apologise, he said, I'll have lost all respect for him.
Yep.
Yeah, no. That's sad, that.
I hope he sticks by it because I cannot see Verstappen apologising.
No.
So, right, guys, any other little tidbits or... Oh, we've got a finger up in the air.
I've heard a rumour that Ollie Behrman is driving for Haas next year.
Yeah, I've also kind of heard that on the rumour mill.
Very, very soon. And there's two rookies that are in practice. I can't tell you who they are or where they're from or who they're racing for. But again, there is two rookies that are racing.
Have you thought of your running question you had for me, or have you forgot it again?
Nah, I cannot think of it. I'll message you.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks for joining me, guys. I must admit, I was really looking forward to this one because I wanted to talk about Max so much, and I think we've done great on it. I think we're not going to listen next week and say what was we thinking. Max is now ultimate knobhead again. So enjoy the British Grand Prix this weekend, guys. James is away in Belfast at the Titanic Experience, which will be pretty much like England.
Yeah, you're joking.
Sinking.
Really?
Yeah, but we're going to run out of time. So thanks for joining us, and thanks to you too, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
So there you go. What do you think of that? Another race gone and another race to come. Fantastic stuff. But Big thank you for watching, listening, however you get your podcast. So you don't miss anything in the future, just make sure you've clicked that like button, subscribe button. Share the podcast around is a big one. Big help to the guys, big help to the podcast. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with these guys and say, hey, I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. That is it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Cookie Cast.